Town Council action on this episode of Barnstable Today. I'm Sarah Colvin. It's Friday, January 20th, 2012. A pair of workshops began Thursday evening's Town Council meeting. First up, a joint meeting with the school committee, as acting town manager Tom Lynch explains.
This is really our first public step in the budgetary process, and as councils and school committee members know, they're required under the charter to have this joint meeting of the school committee and the town council. So our objective tonight is going to be to review the financial condition of the town, including revenue and expenditure forecasts. We'll be looking at general fund history. We'll look at, of course, the Barnstable school funding and other related information in order to develop a coordinated budget. When you see some of the information, I know for some members there's going to be quite a bit of that. You'll note that we could probably have a workshop on some of these individual areas, and we'll certainly be willing to deal with all councilors as we move forward in being able to explain some of these categories in greater detail. But we're certainly willing to welcome any questions that you have as we go through the process tonight. And in fact, some of the data that you see on healthcare reform and some of the rates that have been adopted, we in fact will be having future workshops on that. So what we'd like to do, without further ado, is to introduce Dr. Kajowski, who's going to make a presentation, and then that'll be followed by our finance director, Mark Milne. So, Dr. Mary?
Thank you, Mr. Lynch, and good evening, and congratulations on the recent election. I'm looking forward to working with the entire town council, as I do with the school committee, and thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. Just a couple of comments regarding the school budget. I've been working very closely with Gareth and Mark in looking at a 2-year projection of the school budget. And I think something that we're going to do a little bit differently this year is we're implementing the new Munis module, which is what the town currently uses. And we've been working with our principals to implement that new module. We're also looking at position control to monitor more closely our positions over time. And I'm asking principals to align their budgets with their school improvement plans, which have very focused, measurable goals. So that way we can track some of our initiatives and see if what we're doing is working. So I want to also just acknowledge the consolidation here in Barnstable. I came from a district that did not have a town and school human resource and finance consolidation. And I have to say that it's really been an opportunity and a pleasure for me to work so closely with the town officials. I participate in the senior management meetings once a week. And I also meet with Gareth. We meet daily, talking about budget, as well as our human resources, and Bill Cole. I work very closely with him. And it's been a very positive experience, very collaborative relationship, and I think that's what it takes. You know, I know there's one budget, and there's one pot of money, and really grateful for the town council and the support of the school budget. So with that, I will just turn it back over to Tom.
I just want to echo that the relationship in terms of working together with the school department has been great. As the superintendent indicated, we do meet weekly, and she's also attending our senior managers meetings, which are every couple of weeks with all managers, and it's very and it's significant, I think, that the school department is sitting in on those and seeing what the municipal side does, as well as us learning some of the priorities of the school district. So we're very appreciative that she attends those meetings.
Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Chakowski and Finance Director Mark Milne each gave brief presentations before the council and school committee. A community preservation committee workshop was tackled also by the council last night.
Reviewing my notes for this meeting, we have not had a joint meeting with you all for 5 years, so it's been a while, and given the new group, I think this will be an important meeting so we can get direction from you this time instead of hearing from us. For those of you who've been around, you may remember the land bank that was passed by town referendum in 1999. That was a referendum that allocated the purchase of strictly open space in the town of Barnstable. It levied a surcharge on everyone's tax bill, 3%. Money was put into a fund, and revenues were expended from that to acquire strictly open space. That open space was able to be used for recreation, purposes, watershed protection, those types of things, standard open space uses. During that period, we purchased 1,128 acres of land. We expended $38,904,000 on that land for a per acre cost of $34,463 to the town. Also in that funding was $13,545,000 of either state grants, matching funds, or in the case of the Hyannis Golf Course, the golfers paid for $5 million of that purchase. So there were a number of different things that we created on that, and we think it was a very successful program, and we were glad to have it. Moving forward from that, in 2005, the voters voted to create or morph into the Community Preservation Act. That meant that all of the monies that was dedicated to the former land bank purchases were directed towards the community preservation projects, and it also had to cover the debt service for the land bank properties that had been borrowed for. That's ongoing to this day, and to date, in that program, we have spent $3,927,000 on open space purchases, $6,232,000 for historic preservation programs, and $2,316,000 for community housing programs. Of that price for the open space program, we have purchased about 70 acres. We have undeveloped, if you will, 4 acres of property. In other words, took houses off properties to make them for open space. And our average cost, not including grants, was $56,113 per acre. As you may recall from my previous presentations, there are 3 principal aspects to the community preservation. It's open space, community housing, and historic preservation. But there is one other subset to that, and that is recreation. That functions as a subset of open space, where we are only allowed to spend funds for recreation development on land that has been acquired either under the Community Preservation Act or the Land Bank Act. So we're very limited on what we can spend that, and it has to be acquired under that program.
Airport-related items were also discussed last night. The council unanimously approved a $545,000 request to purchase a new emergency generator, but not without asking Airport Manager Bud Brielt some questions first.
In talking, obviously, the Airport Commission has consulted with the airport's attorney. And is it their feeling, because the only hesitancy I have is a lot of times there's a rush to fix a problem on a construction project of this nature because it is a safety issue. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times down the road, when it's time to negotiate this at fault, if it's found that, you know, somewhere in the process, someone who was in charge of supposedly reviewing and making sure all of the mechanical systems matched up to the needs, it's decided that, yes, your policy is liable, and you're sitting down with an insurance company, their carrier, and negotiating. There's a lot less leverage when it's already been taken care of, and there's less of a need, there's less of a anxiety going into these meetings, whereas sometimes, you know, when you've got a rented generator sitting out there generating a tab every month, that you can pile onto that litigation and say, you know, this is our costs, and it's, you know, been a year now. I'm just throwing that out there. Has those type of discussions happened with the Airport Commission's attorney, and saying, you know, no, that won't factor in, and it's more important to get this taken care of and done now, and it's not going to hurt us as far as our standing in any future litigation?
We have not done that yet with the attorneys. I know we have talked to them before about what we would do in errors and omissions issues. It's document, which is what we're doing. However, in this particular regard, we currently have quite a bit of retainage and money that we still owe the architect that we are not paying until this is resolved.
Okay, so there's a
there is
5%
leverage.
Retainage for the whole project?
I'm sorry?
Was there a 5% retainage for the project?
Yes, but when you do it with an architect, each time you have a pay requisition, you pay it back to them at that time, contrary to what you do with a general contractor.
The council also approved a utility easement. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.